Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me. I'm excited that you're here. I'm showcasing some new products from our Bunnies and Bows collection, which is our Spring 2025 collection. It's coming to the shop on Friday, March 21st at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some new additions to our Hey Honeycomb series. We have a couple of new springtime dies and a springtime stamp set. And so I'm going to show you how to create some cute tags and shaped cards using these products. So the products I'll be using in today's video are the Hey Honeycomb Bunny die, the Hey Honeycomb Chick die, the Hey Honeycomb Spring Stamp Set. I'll also be using some honeycomb balls. We have two new mixes available with this collection. It's called, we have a pastel mix, which is a lavender, peach, mint, blue, a light creamy yellow, and a white. And then we have a spring chick mix, which has two different shades of yellow, 3 of each color. I'm also going to be using a previously released die set called Hey Honeycomb Basics. So this is what we're going to be putting together. We'll put together a cute little bunny shaped tag with a cute honeycomb belly. And then we'll also create a little shaped note card with an interactive element where the recipient can open up the honeycomb ball for a fun little sweet surprise, but it stays flat so you can tuck it in an envelope and then they can open it up. So let's get started. So we're going to start off with the bunny. I have die cut him from some super pale light pink cardstock. The die includes dies for all of the details such as the little cheeks, the eyes, the nose, the whiskers, insides of the ears, and the tails. But some of these pieces, since they're quite small, we have built some stenciling ability into the die itself if you'd prefer to do that instead of messing with the tiny pieces. So that's what I'm going to be doing on this project today. We're going to lay the die back over top of our die cut, nest that back inside of there. I'm going to be using just a black pen and I will use the die as a stencil to add the black to his eyes and also the nose. You can do the same thing with the ears. I'm going to be adding the die cut details to the ears for this project, but if you'd prefer, you can also add some coloring into those instead of doing the die cut pieces. For the cheeks, I'm going to take a colored pencil. This is a super pale Faber-Castell. Let's see, it's just a super pale, like peachy pink. And I'm just going to shade inside of those cheek cutouts on the die itself. Pull the die away, and there you can see our bunny has some adorable details that were super easy to add. I'm going to take a sponge dauber that has some pink ink on it and just do a little bit of shading around the edges. I'm going to take my precision glue press and add some liquid adhesive to these areas for the ears. You can see where the ear details go because the die has those little openings in it, so it does emboss just slightly in those areas, which I think is great to help you determine where those need to be placed. They are a little bit different shape, and I can see that I had that one in the wrong spot. You'll see from the embossed area which one needs to go where. I'm also going to add the tail detail. I die cut that from white cardstock. Just add a little adhesive right to the base of the tail because I want to bend that out slightly for some added dimension and kind of so that it kind of pops out. So I'm just adding adhesive to the base of the tail. Super easy. Now we're going to attach it to a base. I have die cut this already. I cut it on the fold. To do that, I just started with a folded piece of cardstock. You don't want to use a cardstock that's super heavy, otherwise you're going to have a little bit of trouble cutting through both layers. I used an 80-pound cardstock here, which is a good weight for this technique. In order to do this, I just placed the fold below the start of the ears and run it through your die cut machine that way so that when it cuts, we're not cutting the ears because they wouldn't work so well on the fold. We're omitting the ears on this base layer. So when it's cut on the fold, you have this nice shaped base. I can go ahead and adhere our colored bunny over the top. You can use liquid adhesive, or actually before I add that to the base, I'm going to add some details. I want to cluster a few little flowers around him, and these were cut using the new Bitty Botanical stamp stencil and die. And I'm just going to kind of add those around this bunny on the left and right side. Just add some liquid adhesive and glue those to the back side of our colored die cut before we attach that to the base. Then that just gives it a little cleaner look. Then those flower die cuts are sandwiched in between our colored layer and the white base, and so then it just looks a little bit neater from the inside. Okay, I'm also going to add a little bow to our bunny's head. This was die cut using the Diamond Ribbons die, which is also a new die that's part of the collection coming to the shop this week. And so I'm just going to add that to our bunny's head. And finally, just to finish this off, we're going to add a honeycomb ball to our bunny's belly. The honeycomb balls do have strings on them. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off because we don't need the string for this particular project. And I'm going to add some liquid adhesive. You want to use a nice strong adhesive when adhering the balls, otherwise they're going to pop open. So on the one side has a strip of double-sided tape, which is going to work on its own. The other side, I have just added some of that liquid glue. Put that right inside that embossed circle on our bunny's belly. Give that a little time to set, and then I will peel off that liner and open up that honeycomb ball. I'm going to use a paper piercing tool to just kind of an easy way to stick that inside of the ball and get that nice and secured. And there we have an adorable bunny-shaped tag, which you can tie to a package or an Easter basket. Also, what you can do if you want it to stand up, since it's round on the bottom, it's not going to stand up real well. What you can do is take your paper trimmer and on this back section of your folded base, just trim just a small amount off that back circle, and that way it will stand up nicely as well. You can also stamp a sentiment on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I have a Happy Easter sentiment here, which is from this new Hey Honeycomb Spring sentiment set. I'll just use some black ink and stamp this to the inside of our tag. There's several different sentiments in this set that would work. There's also a to and from sentiment. If you're making tags and want to put a to and from inside, you can stamp those using this set as well. So there we have our adorable little bunny with his honeycomb tummy. So next we're going to create this little shaped note card. So obviously the honeycomb balls aren't super conducive for tucking into an envelope unless you leave them flat. And this little product suite allows you to do that and create this little interactive element for your recipient. So let's put one of those together. So I'm starting off once again with a colored die cut. I have die cut the chick from yellow cardstock. You again have the option of adding the details with the die cut pieces or with the cutouts in the die itself. And that's what I'm going to be doing again here. I'm going to position the die cut back inside the die and use a black pen to add his eyes. And then I'll use colored pencils, an orange one for his beak and the same light peachy pink for his cheeks that we used on the bunny. Helps to have a pretty nice sharp tip on your colored pencils if you're using colored pencils. Just helps you get closer to the edges of those cutouts. Pull the die away and you can see we have these adorable details. I'm also going to add just a little bit of shading to give him some more kind of dimension and depth. I have a yellow finger brush here that's got some yellow ink on it. So we'll just go ahead and add some shading. I'm also going to, you can add the feet with the die cuts, or I'm just going to make this super quick and take a Copic marker. You can use whatever coloring medium you prefer. You can use a marker, colored pencil, pen, whatever you like to use, and add some color to his feet. Now let's dress him up just a little bit. I have die cut the wing details from a slightly darker shade of yellow, and I'm going to add those. On his one side, I'm going to add just a tiny little flower bouquet, flower sprig. This was cut using the new Bitty Botanicals set. And I'll just add that before I attach the wing on this side. So it's layered underneath there and looks nice and neat and clean. And then we'll add the other one. I like to bend them just a little bit so they have some extra dimension and kind of come out from the chick's body. You could add some glitter if you'd like. And I'm going to add a bow to the top of her head as well. And this was die cut using the new diamond ribbons die. So there's cute little bows included in that set. So we'll just add that. Now let's work on creating this interactive element. I have die cut the pieces using the Hey Honeycomb's basic die set. There's the full circle, the half circle, and then there's this small heart. The Honeycomb Basics die includes 3 different little shapes, and these are going to be used to create a little sticker that goes over here so that when your recipient opens up the honeycomb ball, they have something to stick it to. This was die cut. We carry these in the shop. This is some foam adhesive sheets, just super easy to die cut. I've done that already. I've cut the heart, and I'm going to stamp some sentiments onto these die cuts using the Hey Honeycomb spring stamp set. I have a half round sentiment here that says peel, open, stick, peep, and we're going to stamp that onto the full circle. Just fits nicely around the edge. And then I have a Easter Tweetings sentiment, stamp that as well. I'm using Tailored Expressions ink. This is a color called Honey. And then I'm also going to stamp a little arrow. There's some tiny little arrows included in this set. So we're going to stamp that as little instructions for your recipient. Stamp that right there so it points to our heart. Like I said, this is double-sided foam adhesive, so I'm going to peel off just the backing liner there from the back of this heart. Leave the front liner intact so that your recipient can peel that off. Put that right there in the base of that arrow. Then I'm going to take a honeycomb ball. They have strings on them, which sometimes are handy. I've used them for tags and left the strings intact, but for this particular project, we're going to cut that off. I'm going to take my, again, liquid adhesive and attach this down here. Line up the edges of that honeycomb ball with the edges of our circle die cut. Peel away that liner, and then we'll top it off so it has a nice finished edge to it. Oops. And then we can go ahead and just adhere this whole piece to our chick. And then when the recipient can peel off this extra liner to reveal the adhesive and open this up, and it will hold that open in place. I'm going to attach it to a shaped card base. I have die cut this from white cardstock. Same method as I just showed with the bunny. I positioned this, I have a folded piece of cardstock. I positioned the die so that the top edge of the chick's head is extending beyond the fold, so that when you run this through your die cut machine, just like this, both layers, it won't cut through that fold. And so what you end up with is a shaped base. You can do this with really any die shape, as long as it's not too intricate, because you do have to cut through the 2 layers. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to this layer so that we can add our finished chick over the top. And then of course you could always stamp a sentiment inside as well, like a Happy Easter. There's some fun Happy Easter sentiments in the set, so you could stamp that on the inside and write a little message. And then they fit nicely in a little 3-inch envelope. 3-inch envelopes are not mailable, they're too small, so if you're planning on mailing it, you're going to want to opt for a larger envelope. And then he actually stands up pretty nicely on his own with his little feet. So super cute and super fun for Easter and spring. I think the little ones would love these. My granddaughter, she's a little bit too small for it yet. I think she'd tear it to shreds, but in a year or 2, she's gonna love it. So thanks so much for joining me, everybody. The new products showcased in this video are going to be available in the shop, thegreetery.com, beginning on Friday, March 21 at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.